My brother Jamal was always louder than me, taller, more confident, the kind of man who walked into rooms like he already owned them. Growing up in Baltimore, everyone said he was the one, the future lawyer, the pride of the family. I was the quiet one, the organizer, the thinker. Hey guys, before we get into today's crazy family revenge story, make sure to subscribe to my channel and smash that like button if you love real-life shocking stories. Also, I want to know where you're watching from. Drop your country name in the comments right now. All right, let's get into today's story. The one who made sure bills were paid, forms were filled, and people stayed afloat. When our mother died suddenly from a stroke, everything changed overnight. She left behind a modest but meaningful legacy, a fully paid-off house, a small catering business she'd built from scratch, and a savings account meant to support both of us equally. The will was clear, or so I thought. At the funeral, Jamal cried loudest. He clutched the casket. He made speeches about family unity and honoring Mama's sacrifice. Everyone praised him for stepping up as the man of the house. Behind the scenes, he was already moving. I didn't know he'd convinced our grieving aunt to sign paperwork while I was out of town handling Mama's outstanding medical bills. I didn't know he'd told the lawyer I wasn't mentally stable enough to manage assets. I didn't know he'd opened new business accounts in his name, quietly transferring ownership of Mama's catering company. I found out 6 weeks later. The house I'd grown up in? Sold. The business I'd helped run for 10 years? Rebranded under his name. The savings account Mama promised me? Empty. When I confronted him, Jamal didn't even flinch. "You should have been paying attention," he said, sitting behind Mama's old dining table like a king on a throne. "You always let me handle the big stuff." I felt something tear inside me. Not anger yet. Something colder. Our family sided with him immediately. "He's your brother," they said. "Men handle finances better." My aunt avoided my eyes. My cousins stopped returning my calls. I was humiliated, forced to move into a 1-bedroom apartment with furniture from Craigslist. I went from helping manage a business to working double shifts at a grocery store, stocking shelves at night under flickering lights. Jamal didn't just take everything. He made sure everyone knew he'd won. He drove past my apartment in Mama's old car, posted pictures in expensive suits calling himself a self-made entrepreneur. At family gatherings I wasn't invited to, he told people I was bitter and lazy. And for months, I let him believe I was broken. But power isn't always loud. Sometimes it waits. I didn't confront Jamal again. I didn't argue. I didn't cry publicly. I disappeared. While Jamal was busy enjoying the spotlight, I studied. Late nights after work, I taught myself corporate law basics, estate disputes, fraud patterns, asset laundering inside family businesses. I replayed every moment from Mama's final months, every document I'd touched, every signature I'd recognized. Something wasn't right. Mama had been meticulous. She'd taught me to double-check everything, and Jamal's clean takeover felt too rushed, too sloppy. So I followed paper trails no one thought I'd look for. I found emails Jamal didn't delete, transfers marked as temporary that became permanent, a forged signature on an amended will filed 2 days after Mama was hospitalized, a day she couldn't physically write. I found catering contracts Jamal didn't understand, tied to venues he was now neglecting, customers who trusted me, not him. I started making quiet phone calls. Old clients, event planners, vendors. I didn't badmouth Jamal. I simply asked questions, offered help, explained I was available again. Meanwhile, Jamal's empire began to wobble. Missed deadlines, health code violations, a lawsuit he didn't see coming because he'd ignored an insurance clause Mama always handled herself. And then there was the bank. Mama had set up a secondary verification system Jamal never knew existed, one tied to my email. I contacted the bank's internal fraud department, calmly presenting documents, timestamps, and inconsistencies. I didn't accuse. I invited them to investigate. At the same time, I built something new, a consulting service for small Black-owned food businesses. Quiet, efficient, legitimate. Within 6 months, I was earning more than I ever had with Jamal without anyone knowing. Jamal, on the other hand, was unraveling. He called me one night, drunk and angry. "You think you're smarter than me? You should be grateful I let you walk away." I smiled to myself as I listened, because I wasn't walking away. I was positioning. The final blow didn't come from me directly. It came during Jamal's biggest moment. He'd been invited to pitch Mama's former catering brand, now renamed after himself, to a regional investor group. Big money, big exposure. Family members flew in. He invited the same aunt who'd helped him betray me. He posted motivational quotes all week. What Jamal didn't know was that 3 of the investors had already spoken to me, in detail. The presentation started strong. Jamal talked about legacy, growth, community. He wore a custom suit, Mama's ring on his finger. Then the questions began. Why did ownership documents conflict across filings? Why were original contracts missing? Why was there a fraud investigation already flagged with the bank? Jamal froze. That's when the investigator entered the room. Federal, calm, polite. They asked Jamal to step outside. The room buzzed. Phones came out. Family members whispered. My aunt's face drained of color. I didn't attend the meeting. I watched the live stream later. By nightfall, Jamal's accounts were frozen. The house sale was reversed pending investigation. The business shut down temporarily. News traveled fast in our community. And suddenly, people remembered me. Family members called, confused. Cousins apologized. My aunt cried, saying she'd been misled. I met Jamal one final time. Not in anger, but clarity. He looked smaller, tired, desperate. "You ruined me," he whispered. I leaned in close. "No," I said softly. "You did that. I just told the truth." The courts ruled 6 months later. Mama's original will stood. The forged amendment was thrown out. Ownership of the catering business reverted, not to Jamal, but to me. I didn't reopen it. I sold it. At full value. I bought back Mama's house and renovated it into a community space for Black women entrepreneurs. Kitchens, offices, mentorship rooms. I named it after her. Jamal wasn't invited. He tried once more to contact me, said he wanted to make peace. I didn't respond. Peace isn't owed. Accountability is. Now, when people say my name, it's not with pity, it's with respect. I sit in rooms Jamal never qualified for. I help women protect themselves from the same betrayal I survived. And sometimes, when I pass Mama's old neighborhood and see Jamal walking alone, avoiding eye contact, I don't feel victory. I feel power. Because he took everything he thought I was. And I took back what he never understood. My strength, my intelligence, and my future.